Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Soda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Soda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Soda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Pavrikacharya Satara Sada Shishimana Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakorti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Premsika Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nishananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai Jai. Jai Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shai Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Gaurani Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki. Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki. Harinam Sankirtan Ki. Brihat Mridanga Ki. Samaveda Bhaktivinda Ki. Gaur Premanandi. All glories to seven devotees. All glories to seven devotees. All glories to seven devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Can I get a fresh glass of water, please? Is it fresh? Okay. Oh, you just put it there? Okay. Thank you. I wasn't looking. You never know here. Sometimes they sit for a day. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 72, and this is verse number 26. This is the slaying of the demon Jarasandha. Jivata Brahmanartaya Konvarta Shatra Bandhuna Dehena Patamanena Nehata Vipulam Yasha Jivata Brahmanartaya Konvarta Shatra Bandhuna Dehena Patamanena Nehata Viplulam Yasha Jivata Brahmanartaya Konvarta Shatra Bandhuna Dehena Patamanena Nehata Viplulam Yasha Jivana Brahmartaya Konvarta Shatra Bandhuna Dehena Patamanena Vevatam Vipulam Yasha Vivatam Brahmanartaya Konvarta Shatra Bandhuna Nartaya Dehena Yasha Jivata, who is alive? Brahmana Artaya, for the benefit of Brahmanas. Kaha, what? New at all. Arta, use. Chatrabandhuna, with a fallen Kshatriya. Dehena, by his body. Patamanena, about to fall. Na ihata, who is not endeavoring. Vipulam, for extensive. Yashaha, glory. Translation by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. What is the use of an unqualified Kshatriya who goes on living but fails to gain everlasting glory by working with his perishable body for the benefit of Brahmanas. Okay, please repeat. What is the use of an unqualified Kshatriya who goes on living but fails to gain everlasting glory by working with his perishable body for the benefit of Brahmanas? The Acharyas have tikas here. There's two short tikas, one by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and the other by Jiva Goswami. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, what is the use of a low Kshatriya living who does not desire fame of giving to Brahmanas with his perishable body? There is no use for him. Jiva Goswami, he writes, they will ask for your life, not your kingdom. And this is what he's thinking. This body can become successful by fate. If we do not use it properly, it is useless. I should use this body for benefiting Brahmanas, even if they have come only in the dress of Brahmanas. What is the use of living as a person born in a Kshatriya family, Kshatriya Bandhuna, who does not endeavor for fame using this temporary body for serving Brahmanas? Or Kshatriya Bandhuna can mean by a Kshatriya fallen because of not serving Brahmanas. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastai Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Tanamani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Bacharani Nirvasesa Shunyavadi Praschachadeshtarani Vanchakalpa Trubhis Cha Kripa Sindhubheva Cha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This is the last verse of 4 verses where we have Jarasandha thinking out loud or thinking to himself about why he should give charity to these fake Brahmanas. And he has his reasons, and they're valid if you see your life in a materialistic way. He's talking about trying to make sure that he can have vipulam yasha, extensive glory. He wants extensive glory because what's the use of living as a Kshatriya if one doesn't attain this sort of glory? It is sort of like a person wanting to be very famous so that they can be in the history books after they're dead. It sounds like something you might want to do, but what's the purpose ultimately? So it's interesting how it states here, he's really resigned to his fate. He, in a sense, knows for sure that he's not going to survive this next encounter in his life. He thinks they will ask for your body, not your kingdom. This body can become successful by fate. Now, fate is a sort of way of looking at things very materialistically, almost we could say nihilistic, meaning that it has no, it's empty. It's sort of like it's an impersonalist way of looking at things, because fate doesn't. Who is fate? What is fate? Well, here it's like he's thinking whatever is going to happen is going to happen, and that's just the way it has to be. And so he's thinking, if I don't use my body properly, it's useless. and I should be trying to glorify the Brahmanas because that's what a Kshatriya does. And that's what makes a Kshatriya great. But he's fortunate because he's going to be killed in the presence of Krishna. But he's unfortunate because he doesn't really know what he should be doing with his life. And he's been doing lots of things with his life, and they've been all demoniac. He's opposed Krishna 18 times in battle. He's acted in ways which are, he's imprisoned kings to make sacrifices to Lord Shiva. I mean, he's lived a very dark life, a life of materialistic endeavors and negative energy. The whole life has been a negative experience. I mean, he doesn't understand that. But unless one's life is used for the purpose of becoming Krishna's devotee and understanding our eternal relationship with Krishna, life is negative. It's like there are negative numbers and positive numbers. We have unlimited negative numbers. I mean, their numbers are unlimited. So in the material world, where the conditioned living souls are swimming in an ocean of negativity, there's so many numbers they can choose from -1 all the way down to whatever. And each one of them is getting deeper and deeper into illusion. Sometimes the conditioned soul rises up to the platform of 0. Nice place to be after negative. That's Mayavadi level, 0. Make it all 0, Prabhupada used to say. Make it 0. 0, I'm finally out of the negative. But that's forgetting the positive numbers, which go unlimitedly up. So that when one gets past 0, I mean 0 is the neutral point, at least you're above the negative, then one can actually enter into the unlimited positive spiritual realm where everything is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. This is not Jarasanda's case. He's thinking about how to gain things that are material. And he wants to become famous and well-known, even if it causes him his death. Well, he's in Krishna book. He's in the Bhagavatam. He's got his fame in relationship with Krishna, even though it's not a good relationship. But somehow or other, we should understand that if Jarasandha has any relationship with Krishna in the Bhagavatam, there's some positive something there. Krishna likes to fight, and Jarasandha has provided Krishna plenty of chances to fight as a Kshatriya. Jarasandha's arguments are a little akin to Bhagavad Gita, the arguments that Krishna gives to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita for fighting in the battle of Kurukshetra. In the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is roughly divided into 2 parts. The first 38 verses deal with basically the you're not this body, Sankhya Yoga, and Krishna provides Arjuna plenty of reasons why he should be fighting in the battle, in this battle that he's becoming disheartened about. And starting with verse number 11 up to verse number 30, they're all dealing with something which you could call related to spiritual life. You're not your body. Never have we. The soul is unbreakable, insolvable. All the things about the eternality of the soul, and the temporality of the body. And there's, so many verses starting, from that 11th verse. But beginning with verse number 31, Krishna shifts his argument. Basically, he he ends up on verse number 30 saying, O descendant of Barta, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore, you need not grieve for any living being. I mean, that's the culmination of all these verses where he's been talking about how you're not the body, how, the world is temporary, of the eternal, there's no cessation, of the temporary, there's no existence. And there's so many different arguments, and it ends up here. But then in verse number 31, it's sort of like Krishna says, okay, if you can't get that, here's some more arguments. And these arguments are not really transcendental. They're arguments based upon Arjuna's position as a Kshatriya, and what a Kshatriya thinks, and what a Kshatriya does, and how a Kshatriya feels within the scope of the material world. Because basically Krishna is trying to get Arjuna to fight in the battle of Kurukshetra, and if he can't get him to understand it because of transcendental reasons or spiritual understanding of who he is spiritually, that you're not this body, you have an eternal relation with me, everything you do in this material world is an activity that's temporary, but done for me, it's Krishna consciousness. He shifts to another level here, and this is the level that we find Jarasandha is on, which is, I think I'm a Kshatriya. Actually, Lord Chaitanya said, I'm not a Brahmana, I'm not a Vaishya, I'm not a Sudra. He says all these different things he's not. What am I? I'm an eternal servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord of the gopis. So, I'm not anything in this material world. Anything that I am, it's a temporary designation. But here, Krishna starts appealing to Arjuna's temporary designation. This is verse number 31. Considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles. And so, there is no need for hesitation. As a Kshatriya, just go ahead and be a Kshatriya. Fight. And that's because that's what you're supposed to do. And if you do that, you're going to get something out of it. And actually what he says, and he quotes here, Prabhupada doesn't give an attribution where this quote is from, but it's here, and it states, in the battlefield, a king or a Kshatriya, while fighting another king envious of him, is eligible for achieving heavenly planets after death, as the Brahmanas also attain the heavenly planets by sacrificing animals in the sacrificial fire. So, yeah, if you go fight in this battle, you're going to go to the heavenly planets if you die. And so this is the way that Jarasandha is thinking. O Partha, happy are the Kshatriyas, to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets. So here's a fight coming to Jarasandha, unsought. They're coming here. And he's thinking on these platforms, I should give to the Brahmanas. That makes me famous. That makes me big in the material world. And it's coming to me. I didn't even look for it, and I'm getting this opportunity. And it's opening up the chance for me to actually enter into the heavenly planets. If, however, you do not perform... Now, this is another way that Jarasandha is thinking. If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. Well, what's going through Jarasandha's mind is, if I don't give to the Kshatriyas, even if they're fake, if I don't become a charitable king, then I'm going to incur sins for neglecting my duties, but even that's not even so important. I'll lose my reputation. My reputation's everything. In the material world, that's what everybody wants, is a good reputation. And the reputation is carried with one throughout one's life. And if one's very, notable, it's carried for a long time in the memories of people. But it also can be infamy, not just fame. The opposite is there. There's plenty of infamous people. And actually, Jarasanda's already going down as infamous, even though he may think he was going to become famous. Infamous because he never accepted Krishna. Even he had so many opportunities, he never accepted Krishna. Going on here. People will always speak of your infamy. And for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. I mean, I'd rather die in this fight. And he's not going to fight. He's not going to fight with Arjuna. He's not going to fight with Krishna. He's got his reasons. I mean, he says Krishna is not even a Kshatriya. And Arjuna is just too young and sort of not worthy of me fighting. So I'll fight with Bhima, because Bhima's big and strong like me. So he doesn't want to be dishonored because, he thinks he'll go down in infamy. And he's already going down in infamy, but he thinks that if I don't fight this battle, I will become scorned by others. And Prabhupada writes in the purport here, both as a friend and philosopher to Arjuna, Lord Krishna now gives his final judgment regarding Arjuna's refusal to fight. The Lord says, Arjuna, if you leave the battlefield before the battle even begins, people will call you a coward, and if you think that people may call you bad names, but that you will save your life by fleeing the battlefield, then my advice is that you'd better die in the battle. For a respectable man like you, ill fame is worse than death. And so, Jarasandha considers himself respectable. The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. I'm going to fight Bhima. I'm going to fight, even if it means my death, so that it won't go down that I ran away from a battle. He already thinks that he's a really tough guy because Krishna, quote, ran away from him once in a battle. So he's not going to do that. And then, your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? And then finally, O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. So here he's saying, same thing, Jarasandha is thinking, it's like a 99% chance I'm going to die if I do this. But I'll attain the heavenly planets by death, and I might win. And how big will I be if I defeat Bhimasena in the presence of Krishna? Well, lots of luck. It's not going to happen because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he's never quite understood that. This is really an important point. Jarasandha has had direct darshan of Krishna so many times, and he can't figure it out that he's God. It's the same way in our world, because sometimes people are presented the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, or take prasadam, or chant chant the holy name, and they simply can't understand the Krishna consciousness at all. It doesn't make sense to them. That's because the deluding nature of Maya is so strong that if one doesn't have the adhikara to understand the qualification, what's that qualification? Well, Krishna says in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, persons who have acted piously in this life and in the previous life, they can understand who Krishna is. In other words, it's up to the fact that we've acted we've had some Krishna conscious experience, some contact. And that's what's important about Harinam, or book distribution, or any outreach we do, is because we give some understanding. I mean, for myself, I wasn't initiated in 1975, but I knew about devotees. I knew about the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra probably in 1969, but I, heard it and kind of thought it was okay. That's nice. But I saw devotees over and over and over again especially between 1971 and 1975. On Harinam, in my college town, they would be doing Harinam, and I'd get a back to Godhead. I might give a quarter or something like that. I forget. But anyway, I would go to a concert or something, and lo and behold, there were the Hare Krishna devotees handing out Simply Wonderfuls or whatever, and I would take one. So I was getting bombarded. But I still didn't get it. And then finally, I bought a Bhagavad Gita in my dorm from a guy who had long hair and was talking about George Harrison. I kept thinking, this is a Hare Krishna book. What's this guy look like this for? And he was a devotee with a wig on. But, didn't quite get it. And I didn't get the Bhagavad Gita. I read it, and I said, whoa. I like the pictures, but I can't understand. So I put it away. And then 6 months later, after some more pummeling by the material nature, I picked it up and I started beginning I read the second chapter and I thought, wow, this is pretty good. And then I kind of put it away again, but then I was curious, so I started reading a little bit at a time till I had read a lot of the Gita. Probably not all in one setting, but I read a lot of the Bhagavad Gita by the time I actually joined the movement in 1975. And most importantly, I read the Sri Ishopanishad, which I think was the book that probably convinced me the most. But in any case, it takes a long time to break through Maya. And Jarasandha, nothing's broken through yet. So here we have a situation of a Kshatriya who's trying to enjoy the material world and trying to gain honor by doing the right thing as a Kshatriya. And therefore, he's actually looking at this opportunity to fight Bhimasena as a sort of a gift to become a greater Kshatriya. But there is no good coming out of any material situation, because even if one has a lifetime of Brahma, we can read in the Bhagavatam, there's plenty of times Brahma is in distress, and there are plenty of times, or at least one really important time, when he makes a giant mistake by stealing the cowherd boys and the calves. And he also had some ignoble experiences, like when he chased after his own daughter in pursuit of some sort of sexual enjoyment. So, I mean, this is Brahma. So, but he's still an exalted devotee. But the fact is that everything in the material world is suffering. So, any gift in this material world, anything we can get in this material world, is not very great. I mean, a new computer or a new car, that's the lowest level. Maybe a good family and a happy life with your wife and kids, or some material success. These are other gifts for material existence. But the greatest gift is the gift that Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda give. And I'm going to read a section here where Lord Chaitanya is speaking. And this section comes as part of the pastime where Lord Chaitanya is speaking to Prakasananda Saraswati. Now, Prakasananda Saraswati and his disciples live in Varanasi, and they are Mayavadis, and they can't understand why Lord Chaitanya is chanting and dancing in the street and not, taking up the duties of a sannyasi, which is to be austere, study, read Vedanta. Certainly not to, be out in the street chanting Haribo, with a bunch of people who are of low stature. I mean, you're supposed to hang out with the Om Namo Narayanaya, Om. They would greet each other as Namaste Narayan. But when Lord Chaitanya, they invite Lord Chaitanya into their presence, and when he's in their presence, his effulgence is so great that even Prakasananda, he's dazzled, and he gives honor to Lord Chaitanya, and then asks him, "Why are you just doing this?" And Lord Chaitanya says, "My spiritual master says I'm a fool and I'm not qualified for what you do." He's very humble. And he just gave me this mantra, and I sing this mantra. And then he goes on to say that I started singing this mantra, and I became insane like a madman. And I just couldn't stop chanting. So we're going to pick up in the story where Lord Chaitanya says he went to the spiritual master and says, "My dear Lord, what kind of mantra have you given me? I have become mad simply by chanting this Maha Mantra." And then he goes on to say, "Chanting the holy name in ecstasy causes me to dance, laugh, and cry. When my spiritual master heard this, he smiled and then began to speak. It is the nature of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra that anyone who chants it immediately develops his loving ecstasy for Krishna." What is this? This is an amazing thing. Because what it says here is that as soon as one chants the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one begins to actually experience at some level. It may be covered over a lot, so one may only get a glimpse, little something, like a little aha moment even. But the point is, one begins to develop loving ecstasy for Krishna. It may be a long road, but one begins. So this is the greatest gift. The greatest gift we can give anyone is the same gift that we received to become a devotee, which is the Maha Mantra, or that philosophy that teaches us to chant the Maha Mantra. And he goes on to say, religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation are known as the 4 goals of life. But before love of Godhead, the 5th and highest goal, these appear as insignificant as straw in the street. Whatever Jarasandha thought he was going to gain pales in respect to the highest goal of life, which is described here. I'll read the verse. Krishna Vishayaka Prema Parama Purushartha Yara Age Trina Tulya Chari Purushartha. So it says here, Prema Parama Purushartha. Love, prem, or Krishna Vishayaka. In the subject of Krishna, prem, love, Parama, the highest, Purushartha, achievement of life. There's nothing higher than that. And that's what we're doing. Even in my very limited capacity to understand anything on the spiritual platform. Within that limited frame, even if it's limited, we're getting the opportunity for Krishna Vishayaka Prema Parama Purushartha, an opportunity to experience or actually gain the highest purpose of life. For a devotee who has actually developed bhav, or emotion for the Lord, the pleasure derived from dharma, artha, kama, and moksha appear like a drop in the presence of the sea. Everything one can gain in this world, from religion to economic development to some sense gratification, and then praying for some sort of liberation or salvation at the time of death, because this world is a bad place and I just want to get out. That's it. That's all you can get. It's a drop compared to the pleasure that one experiences when one has an emotional relationship with Krishna, that one experiences bhava. The conclusion of all revealed scriptures is that one should awaken his dormant love of Godhead. You are greatly fortunate to have already done so. This is the Guru this is Ishvara Puri speaking to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And finally, it is the characteristic of love of God that by nature it induces transcendental symptoms in one's body and makes one more and more greedy to achieve the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. And we want to share that. We want to share that with everyone. We want to share love of God. And the next verse actually says, when one actually develops love of Godhead, he naturally sometimes cries, sometimes laughs, sometimes chants, and sometimes runs here and there just like a madman. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that sometimes persons who have no, go no further, actual blissful life manifested in genuine spiritual laughing, crying, and dancing is a symptom of real advancement in Krishna consciousness, which can be achieved by a person who always voluntarily engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So if we engage in Krishna consciousness, even without full understanding, the symptoms of pure love of God will certainly develop at some time. And it may not be that far away. It certainly will not be that far away compared to how long we've been in the material world. Hare Krishna.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalem Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Divan Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate. Gokula Tarani Mandala Mahite. Gokula Tarani Mandala Mahite. Gokula Tarani Mandala Mahite. Gokula Tarani Mandala Mahite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate. 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 Damodara Rati Vardhana Veshe. Harini Stuta Brinda Vipineshe. Damodara Rati Vardhana Veshe. Harini Stuta Brinda Vipineshe. Damodara Rati Vardhana Veshe. Harini Skuta Brinda Vipineshe. Damodara Rati Vardhana Veshe. Harini Skuta Brinda Vipineshe. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate. Radhe Madhava Dayate. Vrishabhanudani Navashashi Leke. Lalita Saki Guna Ramita Vishake. Vrishabhanudari Navashashi Leke. Lalita Saki Guna Ramita Vishake. Vrishabhanudari Navashashi Leke. Lalita Saki Guna Ramita Vishake. Vrishabhanudari Navashashi Leke. Lalita Saki Guna Ramita Vishake. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate. 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 Karuna Kuru Mai Karuna Bharate. Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite. Karunam Kuru Mai Karuna Bharate. Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite. Karuna Kuru Mai Karuna Bharate. Sanaka Sanatana Varnite Charite. Karunam Kuru Mai Karuna Bharate. Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate. 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 Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe Jaya Radha Lokananda Radha Golokananda Radha Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radha Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya 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 Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe 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 Jaya Jai Shri Radhe 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 Jai 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 Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Gauranitai ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Golokananda ki jai, Jai Jai Shri Radhe Sham. O Radha, all glories unto you, all glories unto you, beloved of Madhava, object of worship for all the young girls of Gokula. You dressed yourself in such a way as to increase Lord Damodar's love and attachment for you. You are the controller of Vrindavan, the pleasure groves of Lord Hari. You are the new moon arisen from the ocean of King Vrishabhanu. You are the friend of Lalita, and your wonderful qualities, friendliness, kindness, and faithfulness to Krishna, endear you to Vishaka. You are an ocean of compassion, and your divine characteristics are described by the four Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumara. O Radha, please be merciful unto me. Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai. Srila Rupa Manjari ki jai. Haribo. Chaitodharpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kandravya Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipanam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahudan Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapita Niyamita Smaranena Kala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishami Hajjanina Nuraga Trinada Pisunichena Tarora Pisuhishuna Amani Mamanadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajagadishakaramaya Mama Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Ohitakitri Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishamebhavam Budao Kripaya Tavapada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrashim Vachintaya Nayanam Gadashru Daraya Varanam Gadgarudaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanamagrahaneba Vishyati Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishyavapadamritam Banastumam Adarshanam Marma Taukarotava Yatatatava Vijatulam Pato Matprananatastusa Eva Napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the condition of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Oh, my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. They're not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than a straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as an atom at your lotus feet. Oh, my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Oh, Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he's always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. Sri Shaska Ki Jai. So Sri Sri Radha Goloka Nanda looked like they're just dancing in the forest of Vrindavan today. Thank you, Mother Radha Ranjani, for dressing the deities so nicely. Radha is so sweet. Look at her nice headpiece with all the flowers. This is Vrindavan. So wonderful. And downstairs, headed up by Sundari Radha, we have a wonderful cooking crew. I think maybe Leela Shakti's down there also. And we thank them for dressing the deities so nicely. For making the offering so nicely, because this way, Sri Sri Radha Goloka Nanda are always given the most wonderful foodstuffs as an offering. Jai. So another day of being Krishna conscious. Let's all be grateful that we are an association of devotees and have an opportunity to chant the holy names.